Hello everyone, and welcome to my debut, the very first, and hopefully not last, Studio Élan web stream event. I'm your host, Melanie, and for the next little while, we're going to be sharing some updates not just on our own games, but also for Bell House, our publishing wing. Before we get started, on behalf of all of Studio Élan, I'd like to thank you for tuning in. We've been planning this event for a very, very long time, and are so excited to finally be here with you all. At least, as with you as we can be. In 2020, a few things happened, but one of the most important is that we released First Snow by Salty Salty Studios and Without a Voice by L Cubed. They were the first games to come out under our brand new publishing wing Bell House, and also the only games. Until now. We have not one, not two, but 3 new Bell House titles to announce today. The first one requires a bit of a content warning. Although the trailer we're about to show doesn't include anything graphic, the full game will contain blood, violence, and other potentially disturbing content. You'll be able to find a detailed content warning on the game's download page and in-game. But for now, feel free to mute and come back in about 2 minutes if that makes you feel uncomfy. Who is the Red Queen was originally developed and released as part of the 3rd annual Spooktober Visual Novel Jam and is currently available on itch.io. We're excited to be helping the developers bring the game to Steam in an updated and expanded edition. In addition to some touch-ups on the script, this version of the game will add additional songs to the soundtrack as well as new and revised art. In this twist on the classic story, Wonderland isn't such a fun place to explore. Help Alice solve the mystery of who is the Red Queen in the new release coming soon. Next, we have a passion project from developer Loveland Isle. Love in a Bottle is the story of Ancora the Love Demon, striking out on her own for the first time to live in an idyllic deep-sea town known as Austera. As a love demon, she, of course, needs to feed off of love. Lucky for her, there's all kinds of cute girls in Austera to fall for. Will Ancora's flirtatiousness lead her to a meaningful romance? Or will it land her in storming waters? Search the town for hints and items. Prepare Ancora for dates by unlocking new looks and regularly texting love interests. Pilot our unreliable protagonist into a happy ending, or watch her fail at every turn and make a fool of herself. The choice is yours. Our last Bell House announcement for the day features a few familiar faces. for the wait, everyone. Twofold, the follow-up to Salty Salty Studios' First Snow, is finally almost here. If you need a refresher, or if you haven't played it for yourself yet, First Snow is one of our first Bell House titles and followed the story of two young college students, Allison and Eileen, as they met and fell in love. Twofold will let you revisit the art club from First Snow and meet a whole bunch of new faces too, all from a fresh perspective. Our new main character, Olive, is struggling to stay afloat between all of the stress and responsibilities they have in their life. Eventually, they meet Caprice and Millie, two best friends from First Snow who are now in the middle of a feud. Olive asks for their help in surviving the semester, starting them down one of two intertwined paths in this story of love and family. All three of these games are ones that we really think are special, and that we think you will all love too. That's why we've partnered with these developers to help more people hear about them. Make sure to follow the devs on their social media. And hey, drop us a follow if you haven't already. That's all we have for Bell House titles today, but there's plenty more to talk about when it comes to our other games, like Heart of the Woods. We have 2 exciting new items to announce, so for that, I've enlisted some help from someone who needs no introduction.
Maybe not an introduction, but having your own theme song is pretty badass. Don't you think, Mads?
Why am I here?
Because we're here to announce the Eisenfeld.
Close, except not really. Just for the record.
For the record...
You're finally gonna get what I'm trying to say, right?
Say?
Well, this is already going very Oh,
right! Very OK Vinyl is going to be releasing the Heart of the Woods soundtrack on vinyl, coming out later this year. It's going to be a 2 LP gatefold release, featuring both the Snowfall and Moonlight halves of the soundtrack. There are 2 new cover illustrations drawn by Addy Rosa, and it's going to be up for pre-order tomorrow. Nailed it! Time to pack up and go home, right?
Aren't you forgetting about something?
Oh, right. Every copy of the record will come with a sticker of yours truly.
That's so not what I meant. I was talking about the other thing. That doesn't have to do with vinyl.
What other thing? Can you make a bad pun about it again?
If you want it done right. I'm talking about the upcoming release of Heart of the Woods that's happening with Limited Run Games, where you'll be able to get a physical copy of the game for PlayStation or for Nintendo Switch. Ring any bells?
Bells. Aren't we already past the bell part of the stream?
Seriously? Don't you read any of the prep sheets I give you?
Of course I read any of them. Just maybe not all of them. Maybe you can, give me a reminder on the rest of the details.
Right. A reminder. For one thing, there'll be 2 versions. The regular edition comes with just the game and has a reversible cover with a new illustration by Satchel. It's exclusive to the limited run edition, so it won't be available anywhere else. Then there's the collector's edition. It'll come with the game, soundtrack, and an art book, plus a bunch of extra goodies, all packaged in a beautiful box.
Like a chest full of treasure.
That's surprisingly accurate for once. Pre-orders will be open for a limited time, with no limit on the number of copies available. Once that pre-order period is closed, though, that's it.
Don't tell me. They put us in the vault!
It's a visual novel, not a dungeon crawler. Anyway, Heart of the Woods from Limited Run Games, coming later this year.
And cut! That's a wrap.
Hey, I'm the one who says that, not you.
Shh! Mads, the camera's still rolling.
I swear.
Back to you, Mel.
Thanks, Tara. We've always wanted to do a physical release of the console version of Heart of the Woods, so big thank you to LRG for that as well. One more quick thing about Heart of the Woods. The magic you just witnessed of hearing Maddie and Tara's voices was only possible thanks to the support of our backers of our 2019 Kickstarter campaign, which allowed us to add voice acting to the game and port it to consoles. It took a little bit longer than expected, but all the rewards have been filled and sent out to backers. We ended up with a lot of leftover stock of some items, so we're going to be putting that up on our web store soon to clear it out. And by soon, I mean right now. If you missed out on the Kickstarter campaign, this will be your one and only chance to get some items from it, because they're never going to be reprinted. You can find a link to our web store just below if you want to be the first one there. Before we get to the rest of our updates, we have a couple more games we'd like to show you. These aren't games that we're working on or publishing, but we think they're just super cool and worth sharing. First, we have Chronotopia, Second Skin by developer Tremendous Machen. Chronotopia is a unique rewriting of the fairy tale Donkey Skin, which is a darker variation of Cinderella. One of the developers' goals with this time-traveling story was to show the forgotten parts of European folklore. We've got a trailer for the game to show you, and look out for its full release later this year. We also have a trailer for I Just Want to Be Single, an anti-dating sim from Tsundere Studios, where you don't have to fall in love if you don't want to. In this game, you play as Aya, who's aromantic, non-binary, and socially awkward. Plenty of cute girls will try to flirt with you, but you don't have to flirt back. The devs just completed a very successful Kickstarter campaign for this game, and we're excited for it to come out next year.
You're in a harem, full of cute girls. Everyone loves you. From athletic girls to smart girls. Beautiful girls and weird girls. You're living the dream. It's all you could ever want, right? Well, for me it isn't. My name is Aya. I just transferred to this all-girls high school. This might be my chance to finally make some friends. But these girls keep saying they're in love with me? I don't know how to handle this. I don't even know if I want a girlfriend. I just want to be single. I don't actually want a harem full of cute girls.
We think both I Just Want to Be Single and Chronotopia look really cool, so please give them lots of love when they come out as well. Now, we have some updates with our other games that are still in progress. Last year, we released the demo for Please Be Happy, and said that the full game would be out before the end of 2021. Unfortunately, as you may have noticed, that didn't quite happen. Turns out the Fox's tails are a lot longer than we expected. This game ended up being as long as our 2 released games combined. The team's been hard at work on Miho's story and bringing it to you as soon as possible. We're still on track to have it out later this year, but we're not going to announce a release date until we're absolutely really sure about it. If you haven't tried the demo yet, you can download it on Steam or itch.io. It's a comfy slice-of-life story about the fox spirit Miho, set in a fantasy version of Wellington, New Zealand. You get to choose how to spend your time and decide which characters you want to befriend. There are 2 different routes and 4 different endings, so we hope it's a story that you'll enjoy coming back to more than once. We're eager for everyone to be able to experience it, so please keep an eye out on our social media for more news. There is another game that we announced a while ago. One that, ever since, has been hard to show you or talk about too much. That changes today. In 2020, we introduced to the world Lock and Key, the story of a married pair of magical girls. There's Sherry, a private detective, and her wife Keely, one of Chicago's most accomplished cat burglars. These two are on the verge of aging out their powers when something sinister starts to happen in their part of the city, and it's up to them to help put a stop to it. Lock and Key is a story that explores what it means to be a magical girl, and is inspired by older, classic Mahou shoujo series. We'd also like to announce that we're officially extending the title of the game to be Lock and Key, a Magical Girl Mystery. Search engine optimization, am I right? Ready to know more? You won't have to wait for long. There's a demo coming out soon on Steam and itch.io. Just like the Please Be Happy demo, it'll be the game's entire first chapter. Look for that to be out sometime in June. We have one more big announcement for today, but before we get to it, we'd like to say thank you one more time for tuning in. From Wellington to Chicago, whether you're watching this live or as an upload on YouTube, we'd like to keep doing this in the future and make it even bigger and better. We'd love to hear what you thought of everything, so let us know if you enjoyed this event. To commemorate the occasion, we have a new set of special spring-themed keychains that you can order from our web store, plus a discount on all of our merch. Okay, now on to our last announcement. Lights! Music! Dramatic narration. We at Studio Élan are excited to announce a new game! But not just us. Instead, this one is a collaboration with someone you may already know. The Shrimp Princess herself, Ebi-hime. Our Home, My Keeper is a brand new story written by Ebi-hime, the author of Blackberry Honey and lots of other great titles. When Paige purchases an old house out of the English countryside, she thinks it'll be the perfect opportunity for her to focus on her next novel. Deadlines are hanging over her head, and she needs all the help she can get. What she isn't expecting is for excitement and inspiration to come in the form of Faye, a friendly fairy who's occupied the house far longer than Paige has. We're excited to be partnering with Ebi on this title and look forward to bringing you Paige and Faye's story soon. There's just something about the name Faye that I really like. Don't you agree? That's all the news that we have for today. But before we end the stream, we have a few questions submitted on social media and Discord to answer. Let's see. First question. Is there any Melanie lore or personality or character backstory? Okay, I get why you asked, and the answer is yes. Usually I love to talk about myself, but I don't want to make this Q&A all about me. So here are 3 quick facts. The world I live on is called Terminus, but it isn't where I was born. I have an adorable little companion called Faye. Maybe you've seen him. They're my friend, not a pet, and they even help me with some of my magic. I also use flowers in my magic, and my girlfriend Vale is an expert at growing them. I can't wait for you to meet her someday. Next question. What's going on with Somewhere at the Edge of the Universe? Well, speaking of other worlds, Summer Uni, as we call it, is our upcoming solar punk game that we also announced a while ago. We've announced a lot of games, huh? The reason for that is we have different people in our studio working on different games. Not everyone works on everything. That's why we're able to do projects like the one we just announced, Our Home My Keeper. Right now, most of the team that will be working on Summer Uni are still busy with Please Be Happy. Once that's finished, The Edge of the Universe will be their next destination as they start focusing on that game instead. We probably announced the game a little too early, so that's our bad. But it's definitely not canceled or anything like that, and we'll hopefully have more news on it later this year. Okay, next. Is there any cut content from your games that you think was particularly interesting? Oh, there was so much stuff. If you play the demo for Heart of the Woods, it actually begins with a scene that wasn't in the full game. It was a really good scene, but it wasn't the right mood for the start of the game. We also had to cut down on the backstory of the main villain because there wasn't enough time to include it. A few of our games have started out as something totally different from how they ended up. Heart of the Woods had time travel at one point, and Please Be Happy was originally going to be set in a fantasy past, instead of based on modern Wellington. Most of the time, we save any cool ideas that we scrap and try to work them into different stories instead. 2 more questions. First, what's the meaning of the name Bell House? If you look at the Japanese kanji for the word Yuri, the first character looks kind of like a bell, and the second one looks kind of like a house. At least, that's how they look to me. We thought those words sounded pretty good together, so we decided to use it for a name. Besides being our publishing wing, the Bell House is also the name of the cafe in Please Be Happy, and may even make an appearance in other games too. In our games, the Bell House is a safe and familiar space for the characters to rest. Finally, our very last question of the stream. Would you ever consider doing some cute non-canon crossovers with your characters? It's something we've considered quite a bit already. They would be pretty fun for sure. Who doesn't want to see Tara meet Marina? Joe and Miho would probably get along well too. No promises, but I'll see if I can get a few of them in the same room together. Anyway, that concludes the first and hopefully not last Élan Festival livestream. We've got a busy year ahead of us, but we hope you're as excited about everything shown here as we are. If you would like to help make things happen, then check out our Patreon linked in the description. Finally, a special thanks to Rimu, who illustrated my model, and to Ryujin for the rigging. And if you would like to follow the voice of me, Melanie, then please follow Kaylin_VO. That's KALYN_VO. I have a Twitter and an Instagram. Thanks again for watching. Goodbye!